Hey everybody, this is Pat from the Like Attracts Like podcast and Like Attracts Like Evolution. I want to say thank you so much for joining me on this video. In this video, I want to share something with you that I think, at least I hope, might clear something up or at least stop some of the self-sabotage and inner abuse systems that can come into our awareness whenever we try to use the law of attraction. One of the number one things I get asked in mentorship sessions and comments and emails is, Pat, how do you think I can better use the law of attraction, right? We all saw the movie The Secret. Maybe you read the book. Maybe you started to get introduced to this kind of experience, thinking you need to do something to create this new result. It gives us a whole new paradigm of something to enter into, and it's exciting, and it makes us feel like there's something else that we can accomplish. The mind jumps in and says, what do we got to do this better? This thing seems to be real. There's a magical component where if I use this law of attraction, then I get stuff that I want. And I first want to start off by saying that here's the beautiful thing. There's nothing that I can say, nor do I believe that anyone else can say, to help you use the law of attraction better. Why is that? Because it's not something that you teach. It's not something that you teach. It's something that you're doing right now. It's something that I'm doing right now. Here's the best news ever. You, if you're breathing and listening to this, you are the best person ever at using the law of attraction. There's never been anyone better than you. We're all using the exact same principle in this. It's like someone jumping off of a building and being like, that person uses gravity really, really well. So what we have to do is get rid of some of the stigma behind what the law of attraction has been presented in the world as. This, again, this kind of woo-woo down the rabbit hole. There's something magical going on. And I do believe, of course, that there's something magical going on, but that's because I think that life in general is something magical going on, and no one knows how to describe anything that's happening here or why it's happening here. So this is just another principle of that which we don't understand that I also think is magical. Do I think it's any more or less magical than anything else? I don't. And that's the beautiful thing. Giving this thing some special importance is how it can change your life, meaning like the tool of using or practicing or learning more about this, what they're calling the law of attraction. That's the trick when you realize that you're never not using it, because essentially what I like to break this down as to understand is that it's whatever you focus on expands. You can really kind of just let that in. Whatever you focus on or have been focusing on expands. And the laws of the universe, which again, label them however you want, whatever you want to call them, however you want to describe them. You could be a mathematician, a philosopher, a physicist. I don't care. There's stuff going on here, some of which the mind does understand. There are very intelligent people here who intellectually can describe many of the functions and the physics of what happens. And then there's the non-physical component to this, which no one has been able to do yet. So I leave it to the hands of the experts to try to come up with those answers. I don't think we're even supposed to know what these answers are, this physical 3D earthly plane. But that being said, it's never not happening. So if you're the best ever at using this law of attraction, we'll call it, if you're the best ever at attracting things to your life, how or why are we living lives that maybe we don't want to live? Well, if you go back to the initial rule that says that what you focus on expands, there's something very magical, again, that happens here. What have you been focusing on? And here's where the honesty part comes in. When I was learning about all of these things, was just trying to like get stuff and make stuff happen. My ego wrapped around this concept and was like, what can we get? How can we change our life? What could we do? But I wasn't willing to do any of the work internally to figure out why I was getting what I was getting. I was thinking that this law of attraction was something I needed to use. And how can I use it better and learn more about it? And what do I do to make it work better? Which was taking me not on the path of understanding that like you're using it, bud, you've been using it. We need to figure out why you're getting what you're getting. So when you realize that you're amazing at using it, but you have to figure out where your attention has been going, this again, I'll bring it back. This is where the inner honesty comes in, because I was like, nah, no, I'm not focusing on all the negative stuff. No, I don't have a bad inner dialogue. No, I don't think I'm unworthy or I'm unlovable. That's all garbage. How do I get new stuff and an amazing relationship? How do I do all that stuff, but yet stay the same? And the answer is that you don't. You continuously will get or attract or experience who you are being, what you believe about yourself, and then what the projection offers you is a direct relationship to that answer. So whatever life you're getting that is causing you to dive into the law of attraction to shift what you want, the answer is to figure out why you've been focusing on what you've been focusing on, being honest with yourself, taking full ownership for anything that has happened to you. I know that's a tough one, but for anything that's happened to you. Now, I get it. You might be like, oh, even this thing, here's where there's like a little asterisk and a caveat. So my mother passed away when I was 14 years old. Many of you that follow me on the show or on the podcast, you guys know that. So am I saying that I need to take full responsibility for my mother passing away or for some other traumatic events that I've had in my life? No, at this level or frequency of consciousness, I don't believe that many humans could be asked to do that. There are greater frequencies of consciousness that we don't understand where maybe we do pick all of these things. Maybe we do attract the life that our soul needs to evolve to a certain point, and maybe some of that involves really devastating human incidents in the world. Maybe that's true. I couldn't say that with any certainty, of course, but what I can say is that I chose to respond much, much, much later in life in the positive way that I now choose to respond to that event. And that was how much time it took me or how much time I needed to be able to make that choice. I don't regret any of the chaos or the other traumatic events that I caused as a result of not being able to handle that in my life. You can't judge it. You really just have to sit with whatever your journey and path has been. So no, if there's a traumatic event, I'm not saying take responsibility. I'm saying that eventually you will have to choose if you want this traumatic event to ruin you or if you want to use it to inspire yourself to be a certain degree of change in the world and then inspire others who may also be going through a traumatic event to go within themselves and find their own sense of inspiration. But here's what I'll say. So if 5% of your life are these traumatic stamps that we kind of hold on to and then ruin our life because of them, 95% of my life was all the stuff that I was perpetually doing over and over and over again, denying that I was doing it. So this is where we have to change. If you want to fine tune how this works within you in your life experience, ask yourself why you're focusing on what you're focusing on. Be honest with yourself about why you're focusing on it and let go of things that don't serve you. Don't listen to the story when you try to let them go about why you need to keep them. So if you have a story that says that you want an amazing relationship and you're going to use the law of attraction to get it, but you're not going inside of yourself to go deal with your own inner value and worth issues or your own inner respect guidelines or boundaries that you keep within yourself, and you're waiting to attract someone else to give that to you, you are going to get the quote unquote opposite of what it is that you're asking the law of attraction to bring you, because it doesn't work that way. You don't go into the world, into the mirror, into the projection and try to bring to you the solution to fix the source. You're the source. And the source is always being the emitter of the frequency. You are putting it out. And then there is a different frequency coming back that is matching whatever you're putting out. This is all vibration. There isn't a person in the world alive that can argue that point. Yes, it gets a little woo when you start talking about vibration, frequency, consciousness, but that's what it is. Just we deal with that. You're vibrating at a frequency. You're putting that out there. If you're in a bad mood all day, you seem to attract other people who are also in a bad mood and you want to talk to them. Why? Because you're thinking on the same wavelength, right? This is all vibrational resonance here. So it's not woo-woo. It's just kind of what it is. That being said, you can't fix or ask some magical law to bring you things if you are not resonating at the frequency to receive them. So it's the best news ever. You're the best person alive, equal with everyone else who's watching this, at using the law of attraction because you can't not use it. The question is, what are you focusing on? Why are you focusing on it? And what do you need to do inside of your own story to shift that story to allow yourself to not just talk about new things that you actually want, but to feel emotionally a match to them. And when you feel emotionally matched to the thing that you're saying you want, then yes, as a result, what you are focusing on will be brought to your attention in the world. You'll be able to receive it. And then if you feel worthy of it in the moment, you'll keep it. And this is the ongoing, ever growing and evolving, expansive process of consciousness that a lot of people are trying to sell you on, called the law of attraction. So the answer isn't, can I help you or can anyone teach you or help you use the law of attraction? The question is, how can we get you to really, really fine tune what you're focusing on, being rid of the story that tells you that you need to focus on all the garbage in your life so that you can actually allow the things that you are called to be and do and have to be a part of your living life experience. So that is my breakdown on how I believe this works. It has caused me to dive pretty deeply into my own story with some inner honesty that I was resistant to for a really long time. But that inner honesty and full ownership is what will set you free from anything that is restricting you or limiting you in your life from experiencing the things that you're saying that you want, the things that you're being called to. So I was able to do these things in my life. And now, as a result, I can help other people call BS on the things that prevent them from achieving those same results. And that's the trick. There's nothing that can be taught here. It's just something that can you do within yourself with guidance from yourself or others to allow you to shift the limiting story long enough that that energy and momentum dissipates, so that the new energy and momentum of the new things that you've been focusing on will then expand in your reality. That's it. That's the trick. Do your best to write out and fine tune what it is that you're focusing on. Challenge yourself. If it's not serving you anymore, challenge yourself to focus on something that you want, and do your best to believe that there is this physical component that we can measure and we can interact with and we can weigh and get results from. But there's also another component to this that no one understands, no one has ever been able to explain. And that's the other part of the equation that we are also working with that will help this process unfold for you in the way that you now choose. And that is what I wish for each and every single one of you. Hope you guys have an amazing day and wonderful night, and I'll see you next time.